Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan on the Piney podcast. Right, Little Joan? Right. Uh, Talking about all things South Jersey. Of course, the big news story still continues to be the beer virus. Good news today, though, but keep yourself in check about these numbers. Supposedly the numbers dropped to 2,500 new cases. Now that probably means tomorrow we're going to get a big caseload, or that, by the time I checked it and came out here or go back to upload this video, it may have gone up again. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully things are finally going down in a significant way. Probably hasn't gone down that much, judging by the pattern. But if the pattern holds true, tomorrow will go back to, 4,000, and then drop back down to where it really is, about 3,300 new cases. But keep in mind, these are just people who tested positive. They don't necessarily, most of them don't go to the hospital, and most of the ones that go to the hospital, don't end up in super serious condition unless they're very old or have underlying medical conditions. The story I told you about yesterday about the Tulip Farms, I forgot one little crucial detail of that story, which was the tour that the Tulip Farm was giving was a drive-through tour. So it wasn't even a tour where you really have to get out of your car, which makes it even more ridiculous that they shut down the tour of Dalton Farms. So I believe, now I saw on their Facebook they were still talking about people picking up their tulips, but I gotta imagine they've closed that down. I don't know, but you should support the Dalton Farm by going to their Facebook page and saying hi, or going to their website and thinking about ordering something. It's a shame that some local bureaucrat had to get his panties in a bunch over tulips, thinking he's saving the world or thinking he's somehow furthering his career. I don't think the people at the Dalton Farm will be voting for him anytime soon. But that all being said, that's about it in South Jersey. Not a whole lot of updates going on. Same old with, in terms of the protest, in terms of things. Murphy is still making rumblings about slowly opening things up, so that's good. So I think everybody should kind of keep it in check. If you are going to go protest, however, be sensible about it. Wear a mask. Keep apart from each other. Unless you're part of a group that's been living together or something. Don't give the cops or anybody a reason to look at you and call you an a-hole for doing that. I'm seeing some of the protesters across the country. Now, the media is, of course, focusing on the dumbest ones and the people without any mask on or anything, the people who aren't practicing social distancing, and you are giving them ammo to make you all look bad. Don't give them that ammo. Show up, look respectable, don't block entranceways to hospitals, and do what you need to do, and then go on your merry way. Don't give these people ammo to make you look bad, and to make the other protesters look bad by association. And try to be patient, because I think things are going to open up. I don't know if you're going to get anywhere by protesting all that much. I think your protest is going to be in the ballot box, whether or not you think the local government officials did a good job, if they were responsive. So far, I think when they look back on Murphy, I think they will say he did a pretty good job. I mean, I think he's done okay. He's tried to work with people at the very least. Now, again, the Tulip Farm, it didn't seem like anybody really worked with those people. I would say that's more localized, and I would say for those people in that area, really drill down into your local elections next time. And when you see whatever bureaucrat is responsible for this mess, who allowed that to happen, running for re-election, remember that you couldn't go to the tulip farm and vote him out. That's what I would do. So I think that was it. Yeah. There's still testing sites opening up. Rite Aid's got a few of them in various areas. So if you need to get tested, get tested. If you don't need to get tested, I mean, if you're like me and you've been basically cooped up and you don't have any symptoms, there's probably not a reason for you to get tested yet. They are working on the antibody test. I think that's something everybody's going to have to take eventually to see if you were exposed to at least some small degree. There are rumors, or articles I should say, I don't know how reliable they are, but they're talking that now the beer virus, there may be multiple strains. They may have gotten a more deadlier strain that hit Italy and then hit the United States, possibly Spain, and that one is different from some of the ones that hit the West Coast. So if that's true, we may be dealing with multiple strains because the rumor is that there's actually 30 different variants. Now, I don't know how true this is, so take it with a grain of salt, but that would explain some of the disparity of the reporting. And if that's true, the real question will be, will the people who got the asymptomatic variant or the lesser variant of the beer virus, will they be or have some kind of immunity or resistance at least to the more deadlier strain? That's the big question. That's going to take a while for people to get a handle on. I mean, it's just, they're going to be testing and testing and testing and analyzing and analyzing. It's going to be a while. That's all there is to it. So in the meantime, again, I think you should prepare to open things back up, to try to get back to work however you can. I think you should plan on planting a garden. If you haven't already, now is the time to get a little seed thing going, something, get some sprouts going in the house. It's still a little too early to plant them outside unless you're planting very specific things. Check Google for the exact time of year, depending on your region. But here, my dad's already planted peas and lettuce. But beyond that, and I think cilantro too, some of the herbs. But beyond that, there's not a whole lot you can plant yet. I suspect onions would probably be in that mix too. So, I mean, you can't really go crazy. Once you get to tomatoes, you should definitely get some tomatoes in the ground. Whether you need them or not, I mean, there's nothing better than fresh Jersey tomatoes, Pineys, as you know. And quite frankly, they're just so easy to grow. I mean, you could literally just bury a tomato and, hope for the best, and you'll probably get a halfway decent plant with a bunch of tomatoes on it. I recommend cherry tomatoes. Because I got one time the seeds from the record plant from the Guinness Book of World Records. They sell them at the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, or at least they did. I don't know if they do anymore. But it was the world record for the amount of cherry tomatoes. And let me tell you, that was a really good strain of tomato. Planted those, and wow, the amount of tomatoes on those plants were incredible. So I think cherry tomatoes tend to be better for me because, you can always cut them up if you want to put them in a sandwich, no big deal. And I get it, people like the big beefsteak tomato as well. But I think, with cherry tomatoes, you get a better chance, unless you're really going to go outside and spray the tomatoes all the time. You get a better chance that you're going to have more tomatoes survive. Animals, bugs, and things like that. So I think, and they taste just like tomatoes to me. You get a little more skin in the mix, but I think those are the way to go because you grow those beefsteak tomatoes and they get weird like depressions in them. They get marks on them and they take longer to grow. They take forever. And don't get me wrong, some of them are amazing. You get a really good beefsteak tomato. Wow, it's great. You could just cut off a couple of slices and make a sandwich out of it, really. But I think the cherry tomatoes are your best bet. If you get some really good cherry tomatoes, if they get a little bigger than normal, it's perfect. You cut them up and put them on your sandwich, and it's just as good. Anyhow, that's the Piney podcast. We will see you next time.